Hi viewers. So we have with us Pranjul Bhandari from HSBC and she would like to share some thoughts on the economy and put some rumors to rest. I am really curious to know certain questions about the economic forecast, so let's get on with the conversation. Hi ma'am.
Hello, great to be here.
So can you first tell me what is the shape of the growth curve looking like? Is it an L-shape recovery? Is it a K-shape recovery? What is your views on this?
Well, look, I think growth has been strong in the last couple of months, but I also think that it's going to slow a little bit in the next couple of quarters. And the big reason for that is global slowdown. I think globally we are headed for a slowdown, slowing growth, and that means India's exports weaken a bit. India's exports have been a huge driver of post-pandemic recovery, and if that slows, then India's GDP will also slow. So I think that's coming, and we need to be prepared for that.
We also know that there's a increasing gap between the haves and the have-nots in the sense that the purchasing power of a lot of tier 2, tier 3 cities has been stripped off. So what can what can the country as a whole do to sort of see at recovery in a big way at the macro level?
Yes, you're right. I think K-shaped recovery is probably the right alphabet we've seen coming out of the pandemic. Large firms, employees of large formal firms, high-tech firms, skilled workers have all benefited through the pandemic. But on the other hand, small firms, informal sector firms, low-skilled workers, low-tech workers have actually seen their salaries fall or even sort of, their jobs go away. So I think this is a problem we are moving with. We are not really acknowledging it fully because our GDP data does not capture it. But over time, I think we will have to pay a price for it. What do you do? There is no quick fix. This is a function of important reforms. And I think the big problem we have in our country is that many small firms remain very small for very long. We need an ecosystem in which small firms grow over time, become large, and the people who work in these small firms start earning more over time. I think that is the right ecosystem we need. What do you need to get that done? We need all kinds of reforms. Ease of doing business, version 2, better access to finance, better access to skilled laborers, better skilling institutions. I think we need a lot of reforms. We have made some progress, but we have to make a lot more progress over the next decade.
Is there a pattern that you're noticing in terms of consumer behavior change over time when it comes to spending power, behavior change? What are some of the consumer metrics that you've sort of noticed, seen change over time?
Well, the consumption basket changed a lot during the pandemic, right? As when we were sitting at home in the lockdowns, there were very different kinds of goods and services that we were demanding. So that was a one-off, and I don't think that's going to become the new normal. I think the new normal is going to be what was pre-pandemic eventually, which is that at the end of the day, consumption is a function of wages. When your outlook on wage growth is strong, when you think you have a good job, your wages are going to rise over time, then you go out and you spend well, right? So in an economy which is reforming, which is growing, in which there are new prospects, which is investing, jobs rise, wages rise, and consumers consume, consumers go and spend. As long as we don't get into that positive path, I think our consumption will remain a little feeble, as has been the case in the last couple of months.
Right. Lastly, I wanted to understand with the consumer index going down and it's hasn't reached the pre-pandemic levels and inflation incoming, give me one sign of hope, give me one sign of positivity that people should sort of look out for and hope for in the future.
Look, I'm very happy you asked that because actually I have a lot of hope. Look, right now there is a lot of global uncertainty. The hope is that at some point it settles. And once that settles, I think there are a lot of good things that are happening in India which can really take the country up. I'll tell you two new sectors which emerged, while we were in the pandemic. One is high skill exports. India is now gaining global market share in the exports of mobile handsets, drugs and pharmaceuticals, specialized machinery, also high skill services, IT services. That's doing very well. The second is the entire startups ecosystem. Our young entrepreneurs are getting access to a lot of global funding. They are providing digital solutions to a lot of real economy problems. And I think we've only touched the tip of that iceberg. I think there's a lot to be done. I think once the current global uncertainty goes away, it will take a couple of quarters. I think there's a lot of good things that can happen in India. And I think with the right reforms, India can easily become a 8% growth economy. So, there is a lot of bad things in the short run, but I think there's a lot of hope for the medium term as well.
Wow, there is a lot of hope in the medium term and medium to long term. And on that great note, on a positive note, let's end this conversation. Thank you so much for your time. Nice meeting you. All the best.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.